Thank you, Tim, and good morning, everyone. I should complain, however, because you guys put me after Leroy, and Leroy is the best presenter, so my presentation is doomed. But okay, I will do my best. And yeah, I'm going to give you a presentation about us giving a new pair of wings, but I'm pretty sure when I say this, you might imagine something like that in your brain. A bunch of engineers sitting behind the desk drinking energy drinks to survive, but no. I'm not going to talk about energy drinks, otherwise my presentation would be too small, too short. I'm going to talk to you about the famous routing daemon, BERT, that we use in our platform in order to do route service and provide you with valuable prefixes. A quick disclosure, however, we are not doing any major restructure or redesign of the whole solution of the route servers. What we try to do is actually to integrate BERT2 in our platform and do the whole migration journey over here. Hopefully next year, once the backlog is a little bit shorter, we can come up with a new design solution for this service. Yeah. So quick look in the agenda of this presentation. I'm going to talk quickly about the old route server setup, the preparations that we did, some new features and rules that we introduced, some quick words about the migration that we did, some noticeable improvements, of course, after the migration was completed, and few last words about the future work. So quick recap on the old route server setup. So before the migration journey, what we had BERT 168 running in the platform. It was very stable. We were quite happy with that. We were running BERT in a dual daemon setup, one daemon for IPv4 and one daemon for IPv6. We were using Routinator and RPK client in separate VMs to extract the ROA table to feed it to the daemons. We were using a single virtual machine to generate the configuration for the BERT daemon with a custom homemade provisioning pipeline written in Perl. Not very happy with that. Also, we had a lot of custom and homemade tools for statistic collections that we present in our website. And hello? Okay. And also some custom homemade tools for a lot of automated tasks around the route server ecosystem. And yes, we use CheckMK monitoring. So we have route servers integrated with CheckMK. And again, with a lot of custom and homemade support tools to glue these parts together. Let's not forget the four filtering modes that AMS-IX is using for the route servers and provides to the customers. And this is very unique across the whole IXP ecosystem. We can provide to our customers filtering of prefixes based on IRDB and RPKA data, which is a default option. But we can also provide only based on IRDB data or RPKA data. And there is an option to provide you an unfiltered BGP feed if you send us a polite email explaining why you want it and what's the reason behind. And let's not forget, this route server journey, migration journey, is not just for the Netherlands route servers. We wanted to do this for all remote IXPs as well. So we concern about 17 locations and 34 route servers. With a significant variation, however, in the establishment of BGP peers. So we had route servers with only 2 peers because they just pop up. We just rolled them out, and they didn't grow up yet, all the way up to the Dutch beasts, where they have 800 peers each. And of course, we operate those route servers in different time zones. But the positive side is that we use a unified setup. So all route servers, both the Dutch and the remote ones, they use the same templates and the same functionalities, which makes life much easier and the journey much more simple. And the good thing is also that we excluded the maps, which is the only variation of route servers that we have. But the maps is a different story. So a few words about our preparations for this journey. And a lot of you might think, OK, route servers, you can just do apt-get install BERT2 and be done. But just to give you an idea how big was that project, this is a print screen of our Jira ticketing system where we generated approximately 60 tickets just to keep track of the tasks and the work that has been done in order to complete this migration journey. And I think I'm still missing a few of those over there. So first thing that we did in this journey was to rewrite the configuration, not completely, but actually adjust the configuration of BERT1 into BERT2. And the reason is that it's not compatible. The developers made some significant changes in the configuration, so you need to work around those changes in order to make your configuration BERT2 compatible. For example, over here I have two examples. When it comes to functions, now with BERT2 configuration, you need to declare what type of variable that you return, for example, a bool. Or when you use a table to store your prefixes, you have to declare what type of table is that. For example, here is an IPv4 table, and so on and so forth, some other changes as well. Unfortunately, BERT2 documentation is not that extensive, so there was a lot of trial and error in order to understand the changes and try to make them work as we want. So lots of experiments, a lot of experiments around. And then we revisited our functionalities, what we provide in terms of functionalities to the customers and to the BGP peers. So created a table, put everything over there, made a summary, and what we're going to do with the new situation. I want to highlight a few things from this. I'm not going to go via the whole table. For example, now with the BERT2 installation, we can have, and we enabled a limitation of communities, both for extended, large, and standard communities, up to 100. So this is a pretty common standard practice for the industry. We also enabled import and export tables for BERT2 because now the software allows us to have it. And also we dropped the support for the BGP extended communities when it comes to traffic engineering functionality. And that was actually the result of a new IETF standard that is being developed currently in the GROW working group. AMS-IX, me from AMS-IX, and a colleague from Links, and also Job Snijders, are working in this new draft, in this new BCP. What actually this draft says is that the route servers on IXPs should stop using the extended communities for route server signaling and actually switch this functionality to large communities. So you can achieve the same result, but with a newer standard. But we should allow the extended communities to pass through when it comes from one BGP customer to another BGP customer. And now we are in the process of finalizing this draft. So the dual daemon setup. So as I said before, we were using BERT in a dual daemon setup in every route server. So in the left side, you can see that we have in every server, in every route server, we had two applications, actually two BERT applications sitting on top of the operating system. One was speaking IPv4 via the IPv4 subnet to the BGP speakers, and the other application was speaking IPv6. However, with the new design of BERT2, with the developers, the BERT developers actually managed to shrink those two, to merge those two functionalities in just one application. So you can have one application to speak both IPv4 and IPv6 to your BGP speakers. And then there was a question if we would like to adopt this, if we want to go into that way, but at the end we decided to operate again, to continue operating two daemons, two BERT2 daemons, and actually what we did, we tried to emulate BERT6, the daemon that was lost before. So, and I'm not going to talk about how we emulated, that's a big different story. But why we did it, why we chose this setup to have two BERT2 daemons per route server. The answers are easy. We wanted to minimize the impact in case there is an issue or instability or a bug. Imagine, for example, you have an issue with IPv6, either with the BERT or the kernel, and because of the bug, your IPv6 daemon crashes, you don't want to lose your IPv4 customers as well. That's not something we would like to have. So we wanted to have them separate to minimize the impact. Also, this setup utilizes better the operating system and CPU schedulers when it comes to converging, so it can help us converge faster. And also, it's better for the operations. The whole team is used to operate two daemons and have things clearer in a separate way. So we said, okay, we're going to continue with this setup. So another thing that we prepared before the migration, it was about to use a dynamic route table to feed RPK data into the route servers. For the Netherlands, it was easy to prepare. We already had VMs having a routinator and RPK client. So what we did, we just had to enable the RTR protocol to go into both route servers. So that was pretty straightforward, quite easy. But when it comes to the remote route servers, we opted for a new solution. Because our IPsec tunnels are very long and unstable and not super reliable, what we did, we deployed a new virtual machine in every remote location in the hypervisor called RPKI VM. Quite easy. Actually, what it does only one job, to have a routinator installed and then feed with RTR protocol the RPK data to both virtual machines via the local bridge. So that was a pretty easy setup. It was easy to prepare, but to roll it out to all the XPs took us quite some time. But it happened. So this is what we do now for the remote ones. And then I created a test bed for testing all these things regarding BERT2. I emulated some AMS-IX customers based on BERT VMs and Junos VMs, using both 2-byte and 4-byte ASNs. Different types of filtering, and also different types of prefix advertisements with all the nasty ones, including RR invalids, RPK invalids, and then played around with communities for traffic engineering, for example, trying to do every possible combination to find bugs and make sure that the new setup is stable. I'm going to talk quickly about some new features and rules that actually concern you as customers and members. So the first thing that we rolled out within BERT2 setup, with the new BERT2 setup, is the BGP roles. It's a new security mechanism that prevents local route leaks between two local BGP speakers. It's described on RFC 9234, and actually this new protocol, this new security mechanism adopts the GAUR export peering model, where actually it introduces an optional and transitive BGP path attribute called only to customer. What it says actually, where a BGP speaker tells to the other BGP speaker, please announce my prefixes only to your customers. And how this can be achieved? Actually via predefined BGP roles, where they have a set of rules attached to them. The predefined BGP roles are provider, customer, route server client, and peer. So far, as at the time we speak right now, only BERT2 and OpenBGPT support this new RFC. But as I said, we have it in our setup optional. So BGP sessions will establish if the other members even does not support it. I need to talk to Johnny if there is an RFC on that. And how it works on BERT2. So we put the role RS server according to the documentation to our configuration. And whoever has this new RFC also implemented, he should put his role as RS client, and then should work. And when BERT2 detects a leak with BGP roles, actually the announcement is converted into BGP withdrawal, and the prefix is dropped automatically. And as you can see here, you have a nice log entry in your syslog file where it says root leak detected. So you can also track down who is sending what. One of the biggest improvements that we did by using BERT2 and enabling the feature goes to the import and export tables. Actually, BERT2 supports both import and export tables, especially the version that we use, the 2.15.1, because those features came to the market gradually. These are actually implementations of adjust and rebin and adjust and rebound, as how they described in the BGP RFC. What they do actually, the BGP import table contains all the received routes from a BGP neighbor before the application of the import filters, which actually is a very nice feature because you can reconfigure your import filters without doing a full route refresh to your BGP peer. And then the other side, in the export table, contains all the routes that are being sent to a given BGP neighbor after you apply the export filters. And that can eliminate unnecessary updates or withdrawals to the BGP peers. There's a drawback, increased memory consumption. I'm going to talk about it later. And before I close the preparations, some other changes that we did was we introduced also a new virtual machine to configure Bear2 daemons. This new VM concerns only the remote route servers, while the old VM configures only the Dutch route servers. Just to minimize the impact in case of issues. We had to update a couple of old scripts and adjust them to be able to support Bear2, because the CLI is not the same, the output is not completely the same, and so on and so forth. And where we discovered one of those scripts still runs unchanged from 2010. Nobody touched it for 14 years. Okay, good design. We also introduced some new monitoring checks to supervise the status of the RTR sessions. You don't want to have a RTR down for many hours because your RPK table will flash. And actually, it's going to raise now. Now we introduce these checks and going to raise an alarm if the RTR session is not established. We also had to come up with a new design on monitoring the age of the configuration of the remote route servers. And the new design actually is based on MD5 signatures of the configuration files, because we're going to make sure that the BERT daemons in the remote route servers have a configuration which is up to date. Now we don't feed RPKI table with a config. This has been separated, so it might be the case that we don't push configuration for days. But we need to make sure that it is up to date according to the latest changes. So we came up with a new solution, and that works well, actually. A few words about the migration journey. It lasted around 2 months, but that's concerned only the migration, not the preparations and the adjustments we had to do before. It consumed the energy of 2 AMS-IX engineers. From the NOC side, it was mostly me. From the sysadmin side, mostly Kike and Kevin as well, work together with me to migrate all the route servers. All the tasks that we did, the migration tasks, were heavily puppetized because we are a Puppet shop. So we have a lot of Puppet manifests around, so it was easy to adjust them to this migration journey. We didn't encounter any issues, thanks to the good preparation work and the automation, of course. So no issues were encountered during the migration. And all of them completed during the announced time frame. And we didn't have any impact on customers. Only one thing that was noticed was one big CDN provider that missed the announcement about decommissioning the extended BGP communities. So he saw increased amount of traffic coming in. So after contacting us, we informed him, and he adjusted it to large communities, and then operations came back to normality. Noticeable improvements. Oh, well, the first is not that an improvement, but, but as you can see, once we introduced BERT2 with the import-export tables, memory consumption almost doubled. Now we consume around 16 gigs of memory. So that makes sense because we use an import table per BGP peer and an export table again per BGP peer. So route servers now consume more memory, but it's stable. But memory is not an issue because Miguel always gives me a lot of memory, so I'm happy with that. But that was very good for the customers. We now consume less bandwidth. Because of the import-export tables, now the route servers can compare inside them with the import-export tables what have been announced, and if they need to talk more to the peers or advertise more stuff to the peers. So and actually, what we noticed was less packets on the wire, which is good for our customers because the routers are not that busy anymore to process route refresh requests or process unnecessary BGP advertisements. So as you can see here, after we migrated, there is less traffic coming on the wire because of unnecessary packets from the route servers. Regarding CPU load, actually it didn't increase. It became a little bit more intense because there's no much network I/O, so the CPU is a little bit more busy. But in overall, it's more or less the same as we had before. So nothing much happened over there. So that's good. So the new setup is also efficient. Other positive side effects that came out from this migration, now because we don't have to pull and include the RPK table inside, it takes less time to generate the configuration for the route servers. And in some cases, we noticed up to 30% improvement. And actually, that helps a lot the VMs themselves, because now the cron tasks for configuring the route servers, they do not collide anymore. Also, we noticed an improvement on the time of every route server to digest the new configuration when we feed it. But I cannot come up with a number because it's different from route server to route server, and the amount of peers that you have and the amount of changes that you introduce in your filters. But there was noticeable improvement over there. Some last words on the future work. We're still on time. Okay, so we want to work on some optimizations of the BERT2 configuration, mostly looking into custom attributes, because according to the BERT developers, that can improve even further the configuration and the digestion of the configuration for the BERT2 daemons. We're going to work now with the guys, with the sysadmin guys, to refresh the looking glass and the BERT watcher. There are some new versions that we would like to use. Also, the LG, the looking glass, will be moved to Debian 12, and the new BERT watcher version actually is going to give some noticeable improvements on the time that you're going to present the prefixes to the customers, to the browser. And we're going to also work some redundancy on the IRR mirroring server and actually have 2 times RRDB4 daemon to pull out the RRDB data. And of course, we're going to work into the adoption of OpenBGBT, because we are founding members of RSSI Foundation, and we want to have some diversity on the route server ecosystem. And with that, I would like to thank you and come up with your questions. Still on time.
Hey, you did better than I expected.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Generally speaking, far over time, and we still have over 4 minutes left.
Yep.
So I saw that on Mentimeter we don't have any questions. So
no, we have over there in the back some questions.
Ah, we have a question.
Yeah, I think Tiago wants
to do that.
Hey, for future works, do you have plans to test or play with BERT3? I know that it's quite fresh yet and crashing a lot, but...
To answer your question, I installed BERT3 on the looking glass, because our Dutch looking glass is based on a route collector, so I replaced the BERT2 route collector BERT3. Unfortunately, it was not compatible with the BERT watcher, so I couldn't get anything. It worked well, but it was not bringing any results into the looking glass, so I reverted back to BERT2. But in the lab, yes, I'm going to play also with BERT3. Because the good thing is that we don't need to do any changes on the configuration anymore. The configuration is similar, is the same actually, and we also streamlined the way we install BERT daemon in the route server, so it will be easier also to transition to BERT3. First test in the lab, yes, and then going to production, but not at the same time. Yep.
I saw another question on the right side, Martin.
Yes, Martin.
Can you raise your hand, Martin? So
Martin Pels.
the microphone can come to you. You're going to get a lot of these.
Yeah, Wi-Fi.
Hi, Martin Pels,
Yeah.
WebNCC. I was wondering if you're planning to support exchanging IPv4 routes with an IPv6 network.
Yeah, RSC8950. Yes, we have some internal discussions about that. We are also monitoring the relevant working group in EuroAX. We want to play with it first. And we are thinking maybe to spin off a peering LAN, a VLAN in the peering platform where we can have this feature. I don't say it's in our immediate plans in the next 3-4 months to have it that, but yeah, we're gonna play with it. Stay tuned for announcements. Yeah.
I saw another question here in the front.
Yes.
Alexei, the microphone is there already. That's nice and fast.
Yeah, that's very efficient.
Yeah.
So, what BERT watcher version are you using now, and what are you upgrading to?
Oh, don't remember the version, but it's the old one before Annika makes some new improvements for the single table setup BERT watcher. So in theory, the one that we use, the Go version that we use, supports multi-tables. The code is not very efficient and it's very slow. It's fine for the small and the remote IXPs, but when it comes to the beast, the Dutch beast, it's very slow. So, but I was speaking with Annika during RIPE meetings. She has a new version, which is heavily optimized for single table setup route servers, just like us. So I want to introduce it to bring it. But it's very old, like 2.5 years old or something. Can't remember the version, sorry.
Okay. So we have time for one more question. I don't think I see any hands anymore. Well, I have one.
Yeah.
Let's put the bird things aside. When we talk about Regina, your motorcycle, you took her to the most northern part of Europe?
Yeah.
You took her to the most western part of Europe?
Yes, correct.
Safe to say east or south is next, right?
South is the next part, yes.
And when can I expect the pictures?
If you are lucky enough, if my schedule allows, maybe this year on October, if my schedule allows, otherwise it will be next year.
Okay. Next year we have some pictures, ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise. Stavros, thank you very much.